Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to Hit the Streets. Growing up, I was never very good at school. I think history was my least favorite subject. I could never understand how learning about the Civil War could help me earn a living. But as I grew older and I had this yearn to learn about leadership, I realized history teaches a lot about successes and failures of leadership in the past. Right now, I'm reading the book by Pat Williams called Lincoln Speaks to Leaders. I liked Lincoln growing up. We had his bronze head on our bookcase. I know he's tall, not very good looking. He freed the slaves. He should have stayed away from the theater that night, and he was our 16th president, I think. But anyway, in the book, it says that history is a story about people just like you and me, the decisions we make and the ones we don't make, and the results. In fact, if you're an inventor, you always look back in history first before you create the future. We can learn a lot by looking back in history, taking example from things that work and things that don't. In fact, what can we learn from history today? One little thought. Well, a wise man said, a man who cannot communicate his ideas stands on the same level as a man with no ideas. So we know communication is extremely important, not just in leadership, but in life. So looking back in history, what can we learn about communication? Well, Thomas Jefferson was not a great public speaker. In fact, he maybe gave a handful of speeches in his 2 terms, but he was a brilliant writer. That's how he communicated. George Washington didn't like to speak to large groups, but was extremely effective in small groups. When he gave orders, everyone listened. He carried himself that demanded respect. That's how he communicated. John F. Kennedy, an amazing communicator. You found yourself hanging on every word. And he left us so many great quotes for history. Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. And what was so great about Abraham Lincoln is that he surrounded himself by brilliant thinkers and great communicators. He said, if you want to learn something, then find the person who does it well and do what they do. So history is an amazing lesson for all of us, and most of us are in the communication business. Every day we have to go to the streets and communicate a compelling message. We communicate orders, and that's how we communicate. So if you haven't mastered the art of communication, both written and verbal, and you want to be a person of positive, lasting influence, then go back and look in history. It's not good enough to say you're going to try your best. Learn from the best to be the best. Right now, it's time to hit the streets. Happy selling, everyone.